All right, guys. Today we're gonna be reacting to she think men prefer women with a high body count. Jump in.
You do realize that men have a revolt factor in them, right? And for good reason. They have a revolt factor for good reason. The idea being that the less men that a woman has been with, the more likely that you can secure paternity, right? So this is the idea. The idea is that until modern times in paternity tests, the only way you could determine if a child was yours is if a woman exclusively was having sex with you, right? There was no other way to determine that. So it's wired into men to have a revolt factor to a woman's promiscuous behavior, right? And so it's actually wired in. So if that's the case, right, then the premise here is, hey, they find it revolting. Why would it be a sign of insecurity to you know, for some reason do the thing you thought was revolting? It just seems the opposite to me.
But isn't it also like biologically ingrained in women to like find a provider and such like that?
Yes. Yes, I think so. So you would think that they would tailor if they wanted a provider and they knew that men generally tend to find higher body counts to be revolting. If women were moving towards that, you would think that they would keep their body counts low on purpose, right? Like that makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but not all men care about that type of stuff. And so
well, that's true. Not all do. Not all do. But the type of men that you would probably want probably care about that kind of stuff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but then there's a type of men who care about what the woman's body count is, but totally dismisses what his own body count is.
And that's what double
that's
standards
because
come
women
in.
tend to not care about that at all. In fact, it's the opposite. It's very bizarre. And this has always been a strange phenomenon to me, but I've actually seen men who are virgins in their 30s get shamed by women and told, well, wait, there must be actually something wrong with you if other women don't desire you. They're like, there must be something wrong with you. I've actually seen that. But I don't really see that phenomenon in reverse, which is strange.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There you go. For the first time in history, recorded history, I would say, female nature is getting exposed highly. And there's nothing wrong with female nature. I think I'm going to be honest, guys. I think they need it, right? They develop those kind of traits for a reason. But what modern feminists and the witches did was they amplified those traits to a record high with no check and balance. And they overplayed their cards. And here we are, folks. Here we are.
Definitely desire women who have no body count. Like they definitely desire that, but on the flip side,
every guy wants a virgin.
Women don't seem to give a shit too much about a man's body count.
I don't know. Some men like their women a little seasoned. Maybe they're a little more experienced.
But most of men just want a virgin. Like, so you guys just go date a 15-year-old then hasn't done shit like what?
Wait, I don't understand. Why they assumption?
So is it not weird for a 40-year-old to be a virgin? Because my brother's a 40-year-old and he's a virgin.
So
yeah, I think a lot of women would see that as a red flag.
We're talking about body count, and I have a brother who's a virgin. He's 40.
What about him?
I find that kind of weird.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. Well, that makes sense, right? I think
that makes sense. That's what Andrew literally just said. Oh my God.
That most women would say that's weird.
Old.
That's weird. That's odd. That's strange that he's 40 and a virgin, right? This actually is making my point for me. And so what does she do immediately? She's like, oh, well, if you want a virgin, go find a 15-year-old. What does the big 15 have to do with their virginity? Like, all of that is just a straight up shaming tactic. It's all shaming tactic to just tell a man it's inappropriate for you to not want a woman with a high body count. So that's just insane.
And actually, it's interesting. Like the 40-year-old male virgin is like a lot of women, like the women that would date him in terms of like, you know, respective age or whatever, the women in that age range, that's going to probably be a big red flag for vast majority of women. But like somehow there's a 40-year-old virgin woman. I would argue that she's going to be pretty highly coveted by a lot of men in her own age range. They're going to be like, whoa, that's rare.
Mm-hmm. Like a unicorn.
Whereas the dude's going to be looked at as a weirdo, right?
Yeah, dude's gonna be like, that's super weird. So
I feel like it depends on the reason too. Like I would be like, why are you a virgin at 40?
Because he lives with his mom, plays video games.
Okay.
Works a job.
There we go. There you go. In other words, you're a loser. you're a loser.
But unless
That's
it's
different.
weird, like go out and have
But then you
dating
wouldn't know
life
how
or
to
something, do something.
Be good in bed. So
I personally
would
don't find
rather-
it like any problem with a virgin man at all. in my
But at like
opinion.
40?
If anything, he's
40
become
is, I would
obsessed.
ask, like I said, I would ask.
badass sex.
Yeah, right. But that's the whole key, right? The
Then you
whole
can
key
teach him
there is
then.
like, you would
But I
ask
love
because you
teaching.
think it's weird, right? You would ask because you think it's weird.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
the
I would
point.
ask. I would just
It's
ask.
It's unusual for sure.
Because he could just be like
Yeah.
really religious and he just hasn't found the girl. I don't know.
And that's cute.
true.
I love that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Also,
Save
like,
yourself
True,
for
but
marriage.
the fact that you think it's weird is the point that I'm trying to make.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
The
yeah.
fact that you even think it's odd to begin with is showing this kind of distinction, which we're looking at, which is that definitely men seem to be very happy with women with low body counts and seem to prefer it if they can get one. Whereas women don't seem to care nearly as much about men having a higher body count. And this could have something to do with the penetrative nature of it. I'm not exactly sure why, but that does seem to be the case.
I mean, I disagree. I personally do care, like, about my man's body count. I feel like it's super important for me to know, especially because sex is such a spiritual thing that in my eyes, I feel like you should only share with one person, even though I know you guys probably
Sure.
disagree with that. But that's just the reason why I would like probably care. I would
Yeah, we can tell. You can tell that sex is very important for you. We can tell.
care.
Well, I agree with you that there's many individual women that would care about this. And there's just like, but if we're talking about the wide scope of women, generally speaking, they don't seem to care as much about it as men care about it. I guess that's the point that I'm after. Not that individual women don't care about it, because I know tons that do.
quick question for you. You said that, I don't know if you said some men or a lot of men, they prefer their women more seasoned, so like more sexually experienced.
Yeah, some of them do.
But yeah, I mean, so
They like to date strippers, OnlyFans girls.
yeah, those
People
guys are
have their
degenerates.
preferences.
But so I guess my question to you is, do you think, like, realistically speaking, do you think when it comes to the sexual experience component, well, I suppose men would like, a woman who is quote unquote good in bed, although if you're a man and you have some degree of sexual experience, you can have a pretty stellar sexual experience with an inexperienced woman or even a virgin. Do you think most men, like, if the trade-off is she's marginally better in the bedroom, or even much better in the bedroom, but this entails that she's fucked 20 additional men before me, do you think most men make that trade-off?
I don't think they think about that. Like, oh, she's
They
better in
definitely-
bed. Oh, she's probably f***ed more people. Like, it could
Well,
be she's
but-
been in
It's
like
natural. Oh
3
my
goodness.
long-term
It's natural.
relationships.
Oh, but you gotta, yes, I agree with, in fact, I may argue this point all the time. A woman who has a low body count, who's been in, 2 relationships, right? 2 long-term relationships. She's probably better in bed than the woman who's had 100 one-night stands with 100 different men
I
and
can
only
agree with
fucked
that.
one man one time.
I can agree with that because of my relationship.
So this idea that the higher the body count, she's going to be better in bed, doesn't
stupid.
really compute necessarily, because
doesn't.
I would say that's a good point that Brian's making there. That's a point. That means that you're probably bad in bed. Probably the guys don't even want to. They probably don't want you. That's a good point.
she
I
could have
didn't
had
say
just a
That's
bunch
a
of
good
one-night
causation.
stands.
I said there's some correlation.
But your whole statement, I don't know why you bring that up, because your whole statement here is we're talking about women with higher body counts, and your position is, your argument for men would prefer a woman with a higher body count is because she's more seasoned, in other words, more sexual experience. It's
yeah.
kind of frustrating, I don't know.
I'm not saying it's causation necessarily. Sleeping with more people makes you better in bed, but I'm saying that it gives you more experiences. Like, maybe that person's more open sexually. They'd be down to have threesomes. They'd be down to go to orgies with you.
Not
Whereas
Oh man, no. Oh no, that's just. I'm never being a guy into that stuff, man. Because that means that you being into that stuff, that means you have to. If you get married, guys, remember this. If you get married, you have to. If you're not careful, you have to bring that stuff to your marriage. And as soon as you bring that to your marriage, man, that thing is done. I have multiple opportunities to be, in the trios. Never say yes. Not into it, man. Not into it. I've never been into that kind of stuff. I'm a boring guy. Love to be a boring guy. Love it. Love it. Guys, those things are basically, guys. It's like demons. Like putting demons on you. Not a good idea, guys. When it comes down to sexuality and stuff like that, you have to be very disciplined. Very disciplined. Because what happens is if you don't control that monster, and I know people like this, man. They have daughters. They still cannot control themselves. They watch the corn, do all these stuff, and their family's back. I can't, man. My mind is too weak for that. Weak meaning I cannot do stuff like that. And knowing that I have a family, it destroys my heart. I can't. See, she's saying all that stuff like it really means something. It doesn't, guys. It doesn't.
A virgin, maybe a virgin would not be as open to those sexual experiences.
But why would a guy who's already screening for low body count women, why would he want to take her to
I said a woman. I said guys who prefer a seasoned woman. You said why would guys prefer seasoned women if necessarily they aren't better in bed? I'm saying maybe their sexual preferences and what they're open to.
So they're a cuck.
No.
You said he wants to bring his girl to an orgy.
No, I said
let other men fuck her.
Like being with a stripper, I'd say she might be more open to using sex toys, trying role play, trying threesomes. But
no, actually that's the worst thing you can do, man. Think about this, guys. Think about this. If you're gonna be with a person for serious matters, you have years ahead, right? Now, sex has to be always have to be interesting, right? But who lead that? The man. Well, you as a man, you have to do certain things to make sure you keep that sexual chemistry interested without going way too much to that, to hell, basically. You start just doing weird stuff with your wife, man, that soon, bro, by the second year, you might be using toys in all the holes that you can find. No, don't do that, guys. This is for the long run. You can't do that. This is the worst advice you can give to somebody. Is sexual. No. Be a man. Make sure you have testosterone. Don't watch porn. Keep it simple. That way, when you're with your woman, the most important thing they want is you to be present. Present, guys. Present. This is the worst advice ever, man. That means you having sex with somebody like that means your brain's cooked. My opinion.
If you were to a virgin, maybe she'd be kind of more closed off to those things. That's what I mean by more seasoned.
Sex is not this complicated procedure. Look,
it's different for everyone.
But again, I'll ask the question again because you didn't even give me an answer. So the question is, do you think most men, if they get a woman who's a bit better in bed, the trade-off being that she's fucked 20 other dudes, do you think most men make that trade-off?
What trade-off is happening? They're okay with her fucking 20 more people because she's better in bed?
Can I ask you a question? How would you feel if you didn't have breakfast this morning?
Lightheaded?
Okay.
She took that round, Brian.
Yeah. She did. She did.
I could repeat myself. I don't know if that will help you understand.
Well, what do you mean by trade-off, though? He's okay with her fucking 20 more people because she's a little bit better in bed?
Okay, so you're saying...
I think no matter how she gets good in bed is none of your concern. Just be fucking grateful that she's with you and she's fucking you good. Whether she slept with 20 men before you or one guy for a long...
No, so she's the prize. This is her argument. Her argument is that she's the prize. Just be grateful that she's with you. Even if she had 2,000 bodies, just be grateful that she's with you.
Long time.
Like in my case.
But okay, so you're saying that your position is that body count doesn't matter, and one of the benefits of a woman who has more a higher body count is she's more seasoned, she has more sexual experience, and this is going to lead to conceivably better sex. So I'm asking you, do you think most men are willing to make that trade-off of the woman is better in bed, therefore I will accept a woman with a higher body count because she's better in bed?
Yeah.
All right.
Some guy wants a certified eater who will make him nut in 5 seconds, or do he want the unexperienced girl who takes an hour to get him off? Like, it's just, it doesn't.
Since when is it women who, like, y'all, oh my God. Okay.
Andrew, he's asking for Andrew.
So
he's asking for Andrew. Andrew, come in and help me.
Yeah, there's like some Coomer fucking degen men, I guess, who would prefer that. Do you think most men who like want a girlfriend, do you think that those men who have a girlfriend, and if the girlfriend is not like up to par sexually, although it's something that can be worked on and communicated and talked of, he would be like, you know what? I just wish you came better experienced already, and the entailment of that is that you've had an additional 20 sexual partners. Do they make the trade-off?
No, because like I said, it's not causation. Higher bodies does not equal better in bed.
It's your position. Your position.
Yeah, she's now changing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she's changing. She's changing the argument. It's like, see, Andrew, help me, Andrew.
Bro, your position is that a woman with a higher body count is more seasoned.
No, all I said was it doesn't matter how she became good in bed. That's none of your concern. That should not be a judgment of character. That should not be a defining factor in your relationship, I feel like, because like I said, if there's no health concern, if there's no loyalty concern, then what is the concern? That's a matter of like objectifying someone, feeling like they're less worthy because they've experienced more. That's just not a good way to value someone. I agree with that. Because they've been with more people, like.
What you said, it's objective.
I agree that sex is like spiritual connections. I'm not the type to just sleep around with anybody either. Like, but some people choose to do that with.
Yeah, but here you are talking about eating and threesomes and all stuff. Like, who the hell? If you're not sleeping with a lot of people, why would you be thinking or be feeling so comfortable talking about this?
Their bodies, so that doesn't make them any less of a person or any.
It makes them less worthy
of being a girlfriend or any less loyal in a relationship.
Sure,
no, it doesn't.
Yes, I think somebody who has a high body count is going to be deemed less desirable in the sexual marketplace. Sorry. This is a metric by which men determine whether they want to be with a woman.
Some men, but in the end, at the end of the day, if she never tells you, how would you ever know? Like that really isn't a.
Okay.
At the end of the day, if she doesn't tell you, that doesn't change anything in your relationship. That doesn't make the sex any better or less. It does not make the love any more or less. It does not make her any better or less a person.
Yes, it changes.
More or less promiscuous or loyal in a relationship.
Here, respond to this.
Because that has nothing to do with the relationship or that specific person.
Okay, cool. So respond to this. You just said if she doesn't tell you. Okay, so if I ask her and she lies about it.
No, I'm saying that it's not the end of the world because that's not a determining factor. It doesn't change anything.
She want to be right. She just want to be right, guys. She just want to be right. I don't even know what she's arguing right now. I just lost her. I don't know what she's arguing.
Physically in the relationship.
Yeah, she lied about it. You said if she doesn't
No,
tell
I'm saying at the end of the day, if you never knew what her body count is, what does that change in your relationship?
I can actually, look, I'll even give you a scenario where this could be an issue. So a woman who has more connections with men, albeit this is kind of like one of the more like niche arguments that can be made. A woman who's made more connections with men, it's inevitable that she's landed on a fucking crazy dude. And if you're involved with a crazy fucking ex, then that's an issue for me.
That can be for girls who don't sleep around with people, who have just poor taste in men or just experienced bad men in their life. That doesn't equate to high body count either.
Huh?
That doesn't equate to high body count. People can have crazy exes
not
without
necessarily,
having body count.
But you think
plus.
Brian, I think you're arguing. Brian's arguing this wrong, because he's going back and forward. You cannot go back and forth with a female. That's a mistake, guys. You have to lock her in and just make sure you can use the words that she's saying against her, because she's not arguing from a logical perspective. That's why he's getting frustrated, because he's saying logical things, but she's just saying stuff that's just moving around. But he's he hasn't planted the flag. He hasn't planted the flag. If he doesn't plant the flag, it's going to be very hard to just lock in the argument. You have to say yes and no's. You have to use some words against her to make sure she go back to reality. But you going back and forward, she got you locked in. You're going back and forward. Because now she's using her emotion to move you around, and you're trying to make logic about this conversation, but you can't. You can't, guys. He can't.
Virgin woman who's never had a long-term
She can be with an abusive man.
You gotta stop interrupting. The virgin woman, who do you think is more likely to have done the roulette until she's landed on a crazy fuck? The chick who's 100 dudes or the virgin? Who?
What if the virgin has
There you
only
go.
ever encountered?
This is answering a question with a question. You have to circle back. Do not answer my question with a question. Just say the question back. Da, 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 da. And that way she can answer the question. She doesn't answer the question, you're going to be here for 2 hours, guys. That's what it is. You have to lock her in.
The one horrible, crazy,
My God. I can't
man.
argue with somebody who just immediately every time goes to
That's what
like the
happened to me.
exception to the rule. I just can't even have a conversation.
Maybe a virgin wouldn't know
virgin's never had
her
a chance spinning
self-worth
with a
or
crazy
like
dude,
what else is out
period.
there in the
Like,
dating field
you-
to pick better men, and
Right,
the
good
virgin
point.
is the one who ends up with those crazy exes because they don't have those sexual encounters with
Okay,
more
fine.
Sounds like
free.
me. Wow.
That actually makes
Sounds
Brian's
like
point,
me.
though. I mean, from Brian's perspective, basically, you're just saying that the virgin should go out and have sex with more men so that she doesn't end up inexperienced with men she's not having sex with. That's what your argument there would
Yeah.
reduce to.
Wait, you or me? Me?
There we go. That's how you lock her in, you see? So he basically used what she said and put it back on her. Yeah, they use that in sales a lot, right? They use that in sales. They're putting back what using her words against her. And a lot of lawyers, they use that tactic, right? But it's very hard to just master it. It's very hard. But I think Brian was doing very good. The problem is that he didn't lock her in. He couldn't lock her in. She locked him out. She locked him in. I'm sorry. She locked him in. So you have to be careful. You have to listen, right? Because you're going to be even the most conservative one, supposedly, right? She's still arguing from a position of emotion, but Andrew already know the end of this conversation, so he just driving her around to just make sure she go through the road, because he already know where they're going with his argument, with her arguments as well. But Brian has to just do this. He has to prepare himself with a series of questions, and that way he can drive the bus to where he wants it to be driven. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. In the meantime, guys, I will see you in the next one.